doing? Always the first one, aren't you? You're so spoiled.
All of our kids are grown and out of the house, so I'm left with Sean and the dog patties, and you can see the difference. This is the canned salmon, and then these are the fresh. Hey everyone, welcome back to Creekside Homestead, Alaska. It's been a little bit since I've been cooking with you in the kitchen. Today, well, actually this week, being 4th of July weekend is coming up. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. Normally it's kind of laid back, we get together with family, but this week we have a couple extra things happening this week, which is going to be very exciting. But I'm not going to tell you about it right now. You'll just have to wait and see. But we do have a lot of prep to get ready for that. And because of that, I'm going to be making a lot of bagels today just to have for easy breakfast, because we're going to be outside getting things together, getting things ready. I'm going to be deep cleaning the house. So it's going to be a pretty hectic week, and we have some other stuff in between that. I will not be here for a day and a half, so I got to cram as much as I can in today. Having said that, today we are going to, a bit ambitious because I do have to get outside and do some stuff as well, but I'm going to be doing 3 different kinds of bagels. Jalapeno cheddar, which seems to be a family favorite because I think I've made 2 batches in the last 2 weeks. So I might do a double batch today, we'll see. We're also going to do just my regular bagel recipe, and then I'm going to put the everything bagel seasoning on it, and then we're going to do a blueberry bagel. So that's what's happening today, and I will be using my sourdough discard. I'm not using my actual sourdough today because I just want to get it done all in one day so that they can go in the freezer. I don't have to worry about it. So that's what we're doing. So we'll be using a little bit of yeast in these recipes as well. So I'm going to finish my green tea, get all my ingredients out, and get a little bit of prep done, and then we'll get started. Okay, so ready to get started. Had to get the apron on because we're going to have a lot of flour happening today, and I don't want to get my cute little shirt that my sister bought for me all messed up. So we're going to start with just the plain bagel recipe because it's fairly simple. But I started with, so I have 250 grams of water in my mixing bowl, lukewarm. And then I added a tablespoon of yeast and a tablespoon of sugar. And then you let that get foamy. Probably can't see it, but you'll know when it's foamy. So then now we're just going to add the rest of our ingredients, get it shagged up and mixed up, and it'll come together in no time. Okay. So I zeroed out my scale, and we're going to add 100 grams. Hold on, let me look at my recipe to make sure. Yeah, 100 grams of starter. I've made this so many times I should have it memorized, but it's my recipe. I should know what I'm doing. 100 grams of discard. And if you go over a little bit, you know, no harm, no foul. There, yeah, that was like 103 grams. It'll be all right, promise. There's that, and then we're gonna add, get my little dough whisk here. Get that mixed up. Okay, that looks good. Now we're going to add 500 grams of flour, and I'm using a combination of all-purpose flour, unbleached, and unbleached bread flour. I really like to use just bread flour, but I'm almost out, so this will be fine. I'll probably just let it rise a little bit longer so it gets super fluffy, but it'll work just fine. All right, so I think I'm gonna do maybe 200 grams of bread flour because we're doing so many bagels today. I'm gonna try and stretch this all the way to get a little bit of bread flour in each one. So we'll do 200 grams of the bread flour. And again, I went over 202. And then we'll do 300 of the all-purpose flour. $302. Imagine that. Okay, so that's that. And we're gonna add 10 grams of salt, which I think is roughly, let's do my half tablespoon and see. I think it's roughly half a tablespoon, but zero it out. Maybe a touch over. Okay, one more touch over. There we go. And then we're gonna add 20 grams of sugar, which I think additional sugar in addition to what you fed it in the beginning to get that yeast going. So a total of 30 grams of sugar. So I've already done 10, so now we're gonna do 20, which I'm guessing is 2 tablespoons. This is half a tablespoon measurement right here. Yeah. Tablespoon and a half. Okay. And that is it for the regular bagels. Now I'm gonna get this mixed up just a little bit in here. And then I'm gonna stick it on the stand mixer for roughly about 5 minutes. Yeah, see it pretty shaggy. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so this is done. It's been going for, I don't know, about 6 minutes or so. And I will show you what it looks like. And this is perfect. It's exactly how I want it to look. So it's just all nice and smooth. So we're gonna put this into a bowl and I'm gonna let it rise for, I don't know, a couple of hours. I'm not going to put these on the proofing setting in the oven today. I'm gonna get it all done, wrap them with plastic wrap, and then I'm just gonna let these guys sit on the counter for a few hours while I'm outside. That way I don't have to time it, I don't have to worry about it. I'll just come back in a couple of hours and check on it, but I'll show you all that later. So yeah, so this one's done, and that again is just the plain one. That's gonna have the everything bagel seasoning on it at the end. So now we're gonna switch over and we're gonna do the jalapeno cheddar dough, which is actually the same exact dough that I just did. I'm gonna double it because I'm gonna do a double batch because Sean requested that that be the only bagel I make, but I like the everything and the blueberry. So, and we have a lot of people that are gonna be here this weekend, so I'd like to have a variety. So anyway, so we're gonna do the jalapeno cheddar I'm going to double this recipe, exact same recipe, and then we'll fold in some chopped up jalapenos and some shredded cheddar cheese into that. So we'll get started on that. So because my bowl is nice and clean from that dough, and we're doing just bagels today, I'm not going to wash this between everyone, which is why I'm finishing up with the blueberries. Well, I'll probably rinse it out after the jalapenos because I don't want my blueberry bagels tasting like jalapenos. And again, I'm doubling this, so just keep that in mind. I got 500 grams of water, 2 tablespoons of yeast, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, that's nice and foamy. We're going to add our 200 grams of starter because we're again doubling this. Oh, this is discard, sorry, not starter. Okay. Wow, that made a major dent in there. So we got that, give that a quick stir. Flour. So that's going to be 1,000 grams of flour. That's a lot of flour. What did I do? So we'll do, I think 350. I'm going to do 350 of the bread flour, I think. So, okay, so that's 350 of the bread flour. So it'll be 650 grams of all-purpose flour. I have to reload. There's that, and then we're going to do 20 grams of salt. And now we are going to add in our cheese and our jalapenos. Okay, so I probably have, I don't know, roughly a cup of chopped up jalapenos, and mine were frozen, so I let them thaw out, and then I wrung them dry through a tea towel just to get all the moisture that I could out of them. Now, if you use fresh, then obviously you don't have to do that, but just keep that in mind if you're using frozen. So we'll just get those in there. And I can already tell that I'm going to need to double this because it's a double batch. So let's just see. I think it's probably going to be about a cup of the shredded. And you can use regular shredded if you want. This is what I have, so this is what I'm using. So we're going to start with a cup, 8 ounces. Yeah, a little bit more. And then I am going to go chop up probably another cup of jalapenos and add those because this is not going to be nearly enough. I mean, we will be putting slices on top when we go to bake them, but I just don't think, actually, now that I'm stirring it in here, I think I'll do just a half a cup more. So let me get those chopped up and in here and then be right back. Okay, I got those added in there. And this, because you've got all that cheese in there, let me turn that on. This is gonna be really, really stiff dough, so I'm probably not gonna be able to get it too mixed up before I stick it in the stand mixer. And we're gonna let this dough go for about probably 8 to 10 minutes. Since it's a double batch, I wanna make sure it gets all good and mixed up in there. Bagel number 2 going on the stand mixer. Okay, so that's been going for about 8 minutes. Oh my gosh, it looks perfect. Put this down. And then, as you can see, it's just like the first one, just has some chunks of jalapenos and cheddar cheese in there. So we're gonna get this, I'm actually gonna put this into one of my bigger bowls because this is going to really rise. Let's see if I can get this. You can see how much dough is in there. There's a lot of dough. This should make, I don't know, probably 16 to 20 bagels for this batch, depending on, you know, how big I want them to be. But, so we're gonna get that, and instead of plastic wrap, I bought these, they're like shower caps off of Amazon. And I think I got 200 of them in this bag for next to nothing. But they are perfect. So, I mean, they look just like shower caps, and they probably are, but they're geared toward baking. I think they're called proofing caps or something. But anyways, I'll put those in a link in the description box if any of you are interested. But yeah, these are a game changer, so I'm not wasting all my plastic wrap. So those will sit next to the plain bagels. I'm gonna get this washed up, kind of wash all my utensils here so it doesn't have any jalapeno juice on them. And then we'll get going on our third and final, which is the blueberry. And it's only been about 45 minutes, guys, since I've started this whole thing. So not saying, you know, do like I'm doing, but just to do one of them does not take very much time. Okay, so I've got everything out here for the last bagel of the day, which is the blueberry. And I went ahead, you know, the beginning's the same. This one, however, is 135 grams of lukewarm water to 2 teaspoons of yeast. And I used active dry yeast. Don't think I said that before. I don't use instant yeast. And so this step is necessary for that. So in here, again, 135 grams of water, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Let it sit for about 5 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. And now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. And we're going to start with, actually this one doesn't, I don't use this recipe a lot. I've only made blueberry bagels a couple times. So this one doesn't call for our discard. So we're going to put that to the side. And we're going to add, I believe it's our flour. Blueberries. Yeah, we'll just add the rest of the stuff. So we're going to add another tablespoon of sugar. I'm going to shut this window. Sean has decided it's a good time to mow the grass. So let me go shut this real quick. Okay, it's a little better. So another tablespoon, hopefully I added just half, So sugar is done, and then we'll add our flour. And this one calls for, let me get my cup out, 440 grams. So I'm just gonna add the rest of this bread flour and see what happens. Hopefully we can get to 300. Okay, that actually used up every last bit of it. So that's 300, so we'll just do 140 grams of all-purpose flour. Back there. Vanilla, this one calls for half a teaspoon of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of salt. Now I use sea salt, I don't use iodized salt in anything, so if you do, I'm not sure what the how much of iodized salt that you would use. So for me, I just use sea salt, and this is 1 teaspoon. Half a teaspoon of homemade vanilla extract, which is awesome. I haven't actually had to buy vanilla extract in over 5 years. So that's pretty cool. And I'm just gonna eyeball it because this is a teaspoon measuring. So I'm just gonna do half of that. And then the only other thing we have to add is our blueberries. So I just bought a pint, I think it's a pint, from the store. And then I stuck them in this pan with just a touch of water and let them get juicy, I guess you would say. It just helps with the coloring of them and gives them a little bit more of a blueberry flavor to them. And then I just strained it. So I don't want all that juice in there. Now if you want to use just blueberries out of the little pint container, or fresh blueberries, I guess, you could. I just don't know. I know you'd have to adjust the water, and I don't know what that would be. So again, I'm just using, they're just slightly juicy. So we're going to add all those in there. And I love these pots, by the way. They're so easy to work with. And I'll link those too. Okay, so that's it for that. We're gonna give this a good stir, and then we're gonna throw it back on the stand mixer. My poor stand mixer has gotten quite the workout today. I have been giving it like a 5-minute break while that yeast is getting active, just so it doesn't kill my poor mixer. Okay, those are all mixed in there. So that's what that looks like right now. And then I'll show you what it looks like once it's done mixing. It's gonna be very, very pretty dough. Okay, blueberry bagels. Dough's been going for about 8 or so minutes, 8, 9 minutes. And here is what it looks like. This is one of the prettiest doughs. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? So we're gonna do the same thing for this. We're gonna put this in a bowl, and it's just gonna sit on the counter for a couple of hours while I go outside and do some garden stuff. I know you guys have seen quite a few of the update videos, but it's looking really, really good now. I'm super excited. We've already harvested a bunch of lettuce for salads, and didn't even make a dent. So I got to get out there and do some stuff. So we'll just let this hang out. I'll come check on it every hour or so. And then once it's doubled, we'll form the bagels. It's been about, I don't know, hour and a half to 2 hours maybe. And as you can see, the jalapeno cheddar is ready to rock. So we're gonna start with that one. And the other two are just still hanging out over here. So when I do mine, this is a really big batch, but I normally like my bagels to be about 125 grams, which makes for a fairly larger bagel, but that's how we like them, because then you can do sandwiches with them, or you can just do cream cheese. It just, for us, it works out better. I guess the average size of the bagel dough is 80 to 100, but I did that once and they were just too small. So we're gonna get this going at 125 grams-ish. And I got my scale here, just so I can, you know, they're all uniform in size. Let's see how good I am. Oh, that's too much. Once you get one, then, you know, I get fairly close each time. There we go. Okay, so that was at 123, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. And then I'm gonna just, to make this faster, just get this, get all the dough balls made up, and then I'll form the bagels. All right, we're down to our last one. Now, these are gonna get much bigger, so I'm gonna need, I think, every pan I have in the house. Get this cleared out of the way, and then I'll show you how we form these, or how I form them. Okay, so let me just get this one because I know I'm gonna need it. So now you just take your ball of dough, and then I usually just take my thumbs and make a hole in the middle, and then just start stretching it out. I mean, it's very forgiving, so it's not like it's gonna tear on you, or it shouldn't anyways. But then you just make them, and then if you like just a little hole in the middle, you know, these are gonna shrink up a little bit more as they rise, because they're gonna do another rise. So they're gonna shrink up. So I usually like mine like about that. And then that way, if you wanna make a sandwich with them, you can. Or if you wanna smother them with cream cheese, you can do that too. And then we're just gonna keep doing them until they're all the size that I want them, and the shape. Don't try to be too perfect on getting it into a perfect circle, because again, it's gonna do another rise, it's gonna shrink up, and it's basically gonna form how it wants to. And these are gonna, I'm definitely gonna need this pan. So I'm just gonna keep going with this till they're all formed. Okay, those are all formed up. Now we're gonna let these rise a little bit while I get my water boiling. And I'm just gonna get this big pot. So I'm gonna get this filled with some water. I usually do it to, I don't know, halfway up, 3/4. And then we're gonna add some honey to it. And we're gonna preheat, make sure nothing's in my oven before I preheat it. We're gonna get my oven preheated to 400. Then I'm gonna get this full of water. Okay, yeah, that was maybe a little over halfway up. I'm just gonna turn it on high. I'm gonna let that come to a simmer. Something all over my hands. Let that come to a simmer, and then we're gonna add our honey to that, and then we'll finish up this process and get them baking and keep moving right along with the others. All right, so our water is almost up to a boil. I'm going to add the honey now, and it's probably about 2 tablespoons of honey in there. So I'm going to let that, give that, just swish it around in there. And then once this comes up to a full boil, I'm going to turn it back down to probably medium. Oven is preheated to 400. This is almost ready to go, maybe about 2 more minutes. Okay, we're ready to start. So because I've got 3 trays, I don't normally do this big of a batch of bagels. So, and this is just for the jalapeno cheddar that we're still doing. I'm gonna do 1 tray, 1 pan at a time, because I don't want them to dry out while they're sitting here, and I still have to top them with jalapenos and more shredded cheese. So you kind of work really fast when it gets to this point. I'm gonna stick it in here, and it's gonna be 30 seconds per side. I don't like going too much over that. You could go up to, I guess, a minute per side. And I have done that before when I was first starting out making bagels years ago. And they're a little too chewy for me. And I like that fluffiness of a bagel on the inside. But then you have the outside of a bagel that you like, which is, I don't know what you call it. A little chewy on the outside maybe. But anyways, we're gonna get started and you'll see how fast this goes. And I do time it. And I'm gonna do 2 at a time. And I'll flip it at probably 20 seconds is when I'll flip it. I probably could have gotten 3 in there, but okay, take these out and we're just gonna keep going, and you'll see how they've even gotten bigger from being in that water. Let me turn that down a little bit. Oh, these look so good. Okay, so that's our first tray. And as you can see, you can actually see how much swollen they got. That one's about to close up, but that's okay. So now I'm just gonna I have my sliced jalapeno slices here, and I just put maybe 3 on the top of each one. And then if they're smaller, I might just do 2. I mean, they already have, a ton of jalapenos in them, so this is a lot just for presentation, really. Hopefully I've sliced up enough. Okay, now I'm gonna just throw some cheese on there. Shauna's peeking through the window. And I sprinkle a good amount on there. Probably gonna have to get more. Okay, so that's what I do. That's the first tray. I'm gonna get these 2 done the same way. Then we will get these in the oven. And these are going to go in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. I will start checking them at 20 minutes, but I rarely let them ever go over 25. These usually are about 22 minutes. So yeah, we'll just keep cruising right along with these. All right. So we're getting these last 5. And again, you know, it goes by fast once you get started. You don't have a whole lot of time to do anything else. That one will get 4. I think I have a few slices left over here, so that's probably there. That looks good. Okay, these look really, really good. All right, these are going to go in. Oh, well, I don't know how this is going to work now. I only have 2 trays. That's okay. We can let those continue. They'll sit here for 20 minutes, and we'll get those in. And I set my timer for 12 minutes because I like to check them halfway through and turn them so that they get even baked. And then these will hang out. And as soon as those come out, we'll get those in. And then I'm going to start forming just the plain bagel dough for the everything seasoning bagels. So I'll start getting those formed up. And then I'll just keep rotating out until I get all the bagels done, because by then the blueberry dough should be risen enough to where it should work pretty well. So that's what I'm going to be doing. They all cook at 400 for 20 to 25 minutes. And I'll see you at the very end when it's all done. And one more thing, I will be washing this pot out and refilling it and reheating it, because it does have little bits of jalapenos in it, and I don't want that to get into primarily the blueberry dough. So I will start over with fresh water for this. Well, we're all done. It's been a long day, but I feel like I've got enough to put in the freezer. Like I said earlier, we've got a lot of stuff happening this week. Well, in the next few weeks, actually. So I wanted to get this done on a day when I had the time. Now I can put this in the freezer and I don't have to worry about it for quite a while. As you can see, here's our everything bagels. Look amazing. Our jalapeno cheddar. See that? And then our blueberries that just came out of the oven. So try one, try all three, see what you think. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.